everyone, welcome to Jada's Art Academy. My name is Mavic Squats and I am a web developer. In this easy to follow video tutorial, I am going to show you how you can insert and style block quotes in your web page. So watch to the end and learn how best to insert block quotes in your web page and how best to style block quotes in your web page. So watch to the end. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome to my video. In this easy to follow video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to insert and style block quotes. Now, block quotes are generally used for standalone, often multi-line quotations, and browsers usually indent block quote elements. They define a section that is quoted from another source, and indent means to start a line of text or position a block of text further from the margin than the main part of the text. Don't worry, when we start coding, you'll see exactly how indent works. So before we start, please make sure to open your text editor. It could be Sublime, it could be Visual Studio Code, it could be Atom, whichever text editor that you are okay with. And once you've done that, create an HTML file and create a CSS file, and then we'll begin coding. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is to add the doc type HTML, the head, the title, my first page. We can change that to how to insert actually, okay, how to insert and style block quotes. Okay, then we save and then we refresh, you see. And the next thing that we're going to do is to close the head. Then we start with the body, and we add the block quote tag. And like I said, the block quotes, they are used to define a section that is quoted from another source. So we're going to add the site, and let's say the source that it is quoted from is the link.html. We'll add it right there, and then we'll add the lorem ipsum. Is just a random speech, lorem ipsum. Okay, then we remove this and add paragraph, and we close it, and then we close the block quote. So this paragraph is inside the block quote, as you can see. And so when we save and refresh here, you see it. Now when I mentioned indent, if you notice the space, it's further away from the main part of the text. Usually if we've used maybe the paragraph, it would have been, if you can, as you see the mouse, it would have been at the starting, the margin here. But because browsers usually indent block quote elements, it started further from the margin than the main part of the text. It started further away from it to help us to see that it is a block quote that we used, the tag we used. So for us to now see the block quote, we are going to style the block quote. That is the only way we'll be able to see it and for it to become more of this. So relation to be style sheet, and then the H reference will be the name of the CSS file. I named mine as index.css, as you can see in here, index.css. Okay, so once I save it, I can now begin styling using the CSS, and whatever it is that I add to style it will automatically affect the HTML file, both in style and in other ways. So the first thing we're going to style is the body. I'm going to make the margin to be 0, the padding to be 0, and then the font family to be Open Sans, and we'll add the Arial, and we can even add the sans serif. Now the purpose of the font family is to style the font, and there are many, thousands of them. The reason why I added at least 3 of them is because there are some browsers that are not familiar with the Open Sans, and so they may not work. If that happens, they can switch over to the Arial. If it happens that they are not also familiar with Open Sans and Arial, they can switch to the general sans serif. In any way, it will at least have a font family that is in use. With that, I'll save it and then refresh to see how it looks like. There, you see it? It shows the first one, the Open Sans, because it's in agreement with it. And then the next thing that we're going to do is to add the color to be 777, and then the font size will be 15 pixels. So I'll add that and then I'll refresh. I'll save it first, then refresh, and then you see it's a little dimmer because of the color that I used. And then I'll make the background color to be white. With that, we save and then refresh finally, and then we can see it all there. And now the next thing that we're going to style after styling the body is a block quote. Remember I said that if you're styling, you need to make sure that it's in order. After styling the body, the next thing to style will be the block quote. So that's the next thing that we're going to style, the block quote. Then we'll style using the display block. We'll say display block, and then the position should be relative. Then I save it and then I refresh. You see it is in the blocks. And the next thing that I'm going to do is to add the width, making it 50%. Then the margin will be 5 rem auto. You see how it moved from page to 50%, and how the margin has automatically moved 5 rem automatically. So the padding is what we're going to look at now. We'll make the padding to be .5 rem. Now take note, there's a difference between 5 rem and .5 rem. So we're going to add that and then save, and then see how it looks there. It has moved a bit. The next thing that we're going to do is to add the font size. We'll make the font size to be a little bigger. 1.5 rem seems okay, so let's save it and then see how it looks. There, it's a bit bigger, it's nice now. So with that, we're even able to see how the block quote will appear. And don't worry, you're going to see exactly how it looks like. The line height is the next thing we're going to add, 20 pixels. And then the color seems a little dim, so I'm going to add a color that stands out, more like purple. And with that, you can see it. The line height helped to adjust the text, and it helped it to be more composed, and the color has brought it out. So the next thing that I'm going to do now is to make the block quotes appear. With time, you've seen that we've already been styling the block quotes, but there are no quotes unlike this one. And that is exactly what I'm going to show you, how to make the block quotes and how to even change the color. So we're going to add, now please pay attention, we're going to add block quote before. You see that? Block quote colon before. This is what will make our block quote appear. This is what will make our block quote appear, and then we'll add the open quote. When we add the open quote, we'll save it, and then we'll refresh. Okay. Then I'll add the content. Okay, no, not the content. We're going to add the block quote before, and then we'll add the font weight. Font weight will be bolder. We'll save it and then refresh. There, you see it? The quote has appeared. And the next thing that we'll add is the font size. And this will make the quotes to be even bigger. There, you see it? And we're not yet finished. We're going to add a color. Let's see, blue. Blue sounds okay. Then when we refresh, you see it changes the color to blue. I don't know if you can see, coding is fun. Then the next thing we'll add is the float. It will float to the left. Now it will float to the left. It will be as there, it's moved. The whole text moved upward. And the final thing we'll do is to add justify content. Justify content. And it will be justify content will be left. I'll save it and then refresh. And finally, we'll add padding. Padding will be 35, 10 pixels. Okay. So I'll save that and then refresh it, and there you see it. The block quote is in accordance with the text. The next thing that you're going to do now is to add the block quote after. The block quote before is this one, before the text. That is what it means. Block quote before the text. Now I'm going to do the one for block quote after the text, so that it will rhyme and it will look more like a block quote. And so I'm going to write block quote. This is after. You see? Block quote after. And then the content. If you notice, the content over here is open quote. I'm not going to use open quote because I've already written the text inside it. I want to close the quotes. So with that, I'm going to write in the content close quote. You see? Then when I save it and then refresh, you see it. It seems tiny, and there it is. So I'm going to make it to be bigger so that we can see the way we saw the open quote. The font weight will be bolder. It will be bolder, and there. So I'm going to increase the font size. The font size will be 5 REM. And then I'll refresh it. You see it. And as it is, it seems to be in the same position as the open quote, but we'll need it to be moved to the other side so that it will be seen as a close quote. So we're going to use color to make it to be in rhythm with the other one, and then to make it to align to the right, we're going to use float right. Then I'll save it and refresh, and you can see it has moved to the other side. And now with this, we've already created a block quote, but I want the paragraph. Remember, it is paragraph that we used in the HTML. I want this paragraph, lorem ipsum, I want it to be at the center so that it will be in the right position, and I want it to be center, the position to be center. What will I do? We'll go to the CSS and then we will style it. And remember, like I said, it has to be in accordance. After the block quote, the next thing to style would be the paragraph. And so we'll style it and we'll make the text align to be center. We'll save it and then refresh. You see it? The text align is center. And then to justify it, we'll add center. And once we save it, you see it? There. We have created a block quote. We've inserted the block quote and then we've styled it to make it more of this one that we created here. We've styled it, and that is how you insert and style block quotes in your web page. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please make sure to like it and subscribe. And in my next video, I'm going to show you how to create quotes in your HTML file. It's going to be very easy to follow. So stay tuned and bye-bye.